What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris, this is 4K Motoring, and we went solar. Now in this video, my goal is to tell you my experience in getting solar installed from the market that is incredibly confusing out there, the factors that are really important in choosing a solar system, some of the incentives that made this a really good time to invest in solar, and then talk a little bit about what system I went with, how it got installed, and so far how it's doing. Be forewarned, there's a lot of numbers in this because that's really the best way to explain this. So if you're interested in hearing more, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and let's get into it. So I heard about some of the solar incentives that are going on right now in kind of the early parts of the year. I started looking at some sites like Energy Sage, started contacting some companies around here to figure out who installed the stuff, what their prices were, and tried to get a good read on the market. So like I said, with the incentives out there right now, there is a 30% federal tax incentive up until 2032. Now, that is not directly a check in your pocket necessarily. You have to have at least that much tax liability, be making enough money that you'll have that much taken out in taxes to get that money back. So if you don't, or if that's not a situation that works for you, you're not really going to be able to take advantage of that tax credit. Now with Duke Power, my local power company here in Raleigh, North Carolina, there is currently a program they call the Power Payer. Depending on the exact kilowatt amount of your solar production, your battery storage system, you have to have a battery storage with that, and its output, there are different ratings on how much money you get back. There's kind of a chart to figure it out. So as I mentioned, I started looking into actually installing the solar after hearing about all these credits out there. I started looking into it mid-June of 2024. One of the first things I learned that you had to do was really evaluate your own electrical usage. Look at your electricity bill, see if you can get it broken down by day, by time, by month, all the different breakdowns to see exactly how much power you are actually using. Once you get kind of an average number you're using or a total yearly amount, you kind of know what to go for as far as solar. Now, some of the other considerations I had was, frankly, my roof, right? A south-facing roof is going to be the optimal setup for a solar generation facility. At least in North America, because the sun is always near the equator, so south of us, a south-facing roof is always going to take advantage of the sun the most and get the most energy returned. So my house actually doesn't set up north-south very well, so that was kind of an issue. One half of my house is about east, maybe a little bit southeast facing. The other half is pretty much west, maybe a little northwest facing. And then I have a couple dormers that face south. But I have no trees anywhere around my house or nothing that's going to cause shade onto my roof. So the roof gets full sun exposure all day long, which is a key if you live in an area with a lot of trees or other obstacles that keep sun from being on your roof and keeping a lot of shading on your roof very often. Solar may not work well for you. You may be pretty disappointed if you put any solar panels on there because they're not going to produce a lot of electricity. I eventually got in contact with the company I ended up buying through, NC Solar Now. They have an office that's actually pretty close to my office, and in talking to them, they provided me with a lot of the best information that I received from anybody else, and their price was actually a good bit lower than everybody else for the exact same or better components. So I ended up signing with NC Solar Now on July 1st of 2024. I signed my contract, and that's when everything began. By everything, I mean all the paperwork and all the permits and everything that's really involved in one of these grid-tied electrical systems. Luckily, the company I went with was pretty great in having a guide set up to guide you through it all. Everywhere from the HOA permits that you need to mount stuff to your roof. By the way, HOAs are not allowed to fully prohibit solar, but they can restrict where you put them, so make sure you check with your HOA before you go into this. Next, I had to get some city permits to make sure I could have electrical stuff put on based on code, local code, and then you also had to get some interconnect permits with the power company to make sure that this generation facility, because that's what it is, it's a small electrical generation facility, can be tied into the grid and can backfeed, and everything is according to regulations there. So all that stuff took several months, and by the time it was actually done and installation was scheduled, it was 5 months later. Installation started at the end of November and took 2 days. It was finished on December 2nd. So from July 1st when I signed the contract, December 2nd is when the system was fully installed and ready to go live. By go live, I mean just function on its own. It couldn't yet backfeed to the grid. We didn't get those permits back. And as of today, it is the second week of December. It is December 7th. And I've gotten full approval for the system to be turned on and working by itself, but I still don't have approval to backfeed to the grid. I'm assuming, based on the way the permits were submitted, in the next week or two, I should have that and the system should be fully operational. So now getting into the process, let's talk these numbers and let's talk specifically about my system, what I was looking for, what I was using, and why I chose what I did. So I was able to go back in my power bill, locally my power company, and I think most, give you a pretty good breakdown of your energy usage. So I can see by every 15-minute interval how much power I'm using, and then that will break it down into day, week, month, year, and some generic numbers that basically give me a long-term view of how much power I'm actually using in my home. I've been in this home for over 10 years. I'm pretty consistent, at least at this point, with my energy usage. And what I found was I needed to get a 13.44 kilowatt hour system to be just slightly above the production estimate, to have a production estimate just slightly above what my average yearly usage was to achieve a net zero result. Now, net metering is a cool thing. A lot of places are getting rid of it totally. There's some time of use stuff that involves batteries. There's a lot to consider here to figure out if solar is right for you or exactly what setup is right for you. Here we still have some net metering going on that you can be opted into, which means for every kilowatt you send back to the grid, if you produce stuff during the day, right? Solar is only producing during the day. Most people don't use a lot of electricity during the day. They use it in the evening when they come home and the sun is going down. So for every kilowatt you send to the grid during the day by producing electricity and providing it to the grid, the power company gives me a credit. And my credit is exactly equal to 1 kilowatt. So I earn 1 kilowatt of credit, and then come the evening, come the night when I'm actually using the power, I can pull a kilowatt from the grid and it costs me nothing. I've given them one, they give me one back, and it's basically like the grid is my own battery system. Now that's slightly not true because there are some fees with the power company just to have an account or just to stay attached. They're usually about $20 a month or so don't forget those. But as far as the actual power usage, what you're being billed for, I've set the system up so it's producing hopefully just a little bit more than I've historically been using every year. That way I'm covered. It's not enough to add like an electric vehicle or anything. That's going to use a ton of electricity. So make sure you're sizing up for that if that's what you plan to do. But for just that net zero thing, that's about what I've got covered. Now let's talk about the battery and why specifically solar, at least moving into the future, is really not going to be worth it without a battery. There's a couple things that I think are pretty important about the battery system. First is that a lot of places are going away from the straight net metering and going to a time of use sort of thing. So if you give them a kilowatt hour of energy during the day, they may credit you for 1 kilowatt, but it'll be at a rate that is much lower than the peak rate of when everybody's using power and pulling from the grid. So basically, during the daytime hours when your solar system is producing, they might be crediting you kilowatts at maybe an 8 cent a kilowatt rate. But then during certain evening hours when everybody comes home, peak of the sun, when everybody's ACs are cranking, that sort of thing during the summer, they may charge 25 cents a kilowatt or more. This is really important because if your energy provider does this, the solar energy you are generating may not offset fully the cost of the energy that you are pulling back. With a battery system, you can charge up this battery during the day, charge up your own battery using your own solar, not so much worry about sending things to the grid, and then come the evening, at the very least, you won't be pulling from the grid during these peak hours. You'll be able to run off your own battery. And then at night, when it's super off peak and those energy rates are the absolute lowest, you can even charge this thing back up from the grid and basically turn this into a money generating machine right here. Now the other big thing, and I think one of the bigger things for me personally, was that your solar panels will not work, they will not generate electricity unless the grid is active. Now this is a mandatory safety thing that is built into the inverters, the things that allow the direct current to change into alternating current so your house can use it. There's an inverter, the Powerwall has it built in, some use separate ones. That will not function. It will shut off your solar panels if it doesn't see energy from the grid. It does this for two reasons. It needs to see the frequency and the actual pattern, the waves of the energy from the grid to know how to send energy back, to match it, to be able to cooperate with the grid. And also, if the grid goes down, by code, it cannot send power to the grid because line workers that may be downstream, that may be trying to fix things, fix some issues, don't want to be electrocuted. So the system will shut down. If all you have is solar panels, it will shut down. With a battery reserve, the Powerwall was the one that made more sense for me, but really any battery storage device that you have will allow your solar panels to remain on during a power outage and even be kind of self-sustaining. I can charge up my own Powerwall during the day with solar. My panels will stay active for at least as much solar as I need. They do shut off a little bit earlier than normal, but they will charge your Powerwall and cover your usage during the day. And then in the evening, you can run off the Powerwall. And if you're lucky, especially in a grid down scenario, if you're kind of conserving energy and not using more than you should be able to get this thing to last through the night and then charge back up in the morning, realistically allowing you to remain fully operational during a power outage. So with the Powerwall 3, I have 13.5 kilowatts of storage. This is an LFP battery, so a lot of people are concerned about the chemistry in these batteries. The most modern chemistry that's being used is LFP, or lithium iron phosphate, I believe, and these are a whole lot more stable. They don't have those thermal runaway problems, and really, this gives me a lot more peace of mind to have this in my home because this is not going to cause some of the problems that the NMC batteries would. Also, this is said to last a whole lot longer and be a lot less sensitive to changes in charge, so you can hold this at 100 or really run it down and cycle it. This battery chemistry really doesn't care about that sort of thing as much, so it should last at least a good bit longer than the traditional NMC batteries. Fingers crossed. It does come with a 10-year warranty that guarantees over a 90% state of charge after 10 years. So I think I'll be able to get quite a long time out of this thing, enough to at least make it worthwhile. Right now, this will put out continuous over 11.5 watts. So that'll start and run pretty much anything in a home. I've had my 2.5 ton AC system for this home. It starts it just fine. It runs it no problem. Dryers, ovens, microwaves, does all that stuff great. It can even handle some of those things all together. Maybe not all of them together, but at least a couple of those things together, it'll run just fine. And that's just with a single Powerwall. You should be able to use this full battery. So you should be able to access all 13.5 kilowatt hours if you needed them. And that really, from my experience in the couple days that I've used it, has gotten me pretty far through the day, especially as we get into winter and kind of moderate temperatures, where I'm not using a lot of climate control stuff. This battery lasts a long time. Pair that with my 13.44 kilowatt hour solar system. Now that system is mostly facing east and west, as I showed you, not a whole lot south. And because of that, I'm not getting necessarily, especially in the winter when the sun is at such an extreme angle, I'm not getting all that power at once. I'm not getting 13.44 kilowatt hours at a time, but I'm getting power early in the morning, like before 8 a.m. I'm starting to generate power, and then it goes all the way to the sun sets a little bit after 4 p.m. I know these are really short days here in this December, but I get power all day long. As long as that sun is up, I'm generating electricity. This Powerwall usually fills up pretty quickly in the morning, and until I'm hooked up to the grid, it will just fill itself, run the home, and not export anything else, so it shuts the solar panels down. So I don't know how much I can truly generate every day with these solar panels just yet until I can export to the grid. But as of now, I've been able to fill this thing up by 10 or 11 a.m. while running the house, while running dishwashers and dryers and stuff like that, and it hasn't been a problem. So to finish this up, let's talk money. How much did this system actually cost me, and how long will it take to pay back? I know that's usually the big question. So the entire system, all installed, everything, the solar panels, the Powerwall, the permits, all the installation, everything, was $36,363. The federal tax credit I'm going to get is 30% of that, or right about $11,000. I'm also getting, because of this Powerwall here, a $9,000 rebate from the power company, because they want these things in residential homes. They want to be able to use them as kind of big battery generation facilities, and that's part of their next gen grid planning. And I'm also getting $52 a month credit as part of their virtual power plant program, so they can occasionally pull some power from this to the grid to help stabilize things. That's another $52 a month for about 10 years, which should be about another $6,000. So all in, all the incentives I'm receiving are right at $26,000 total money back in my pocket that I'm not paying. So I have about a $10,000 investment in my entire solar system and basically energy independence warranted for the next 25 years. So I think this is going to work out pretty well. Based on my math, I should have it paid off in just over 5 years. Tesla Powerwall warranted for 10, will probably last longer. Solar panels warranted for 25 years, full labor warranty, production warranty, all that stuff, to be producing still 92% at the end of 25 years. These are the REC Alpha 2 Pure 420 watt panels, which are pretty high quality in the solar world. This should give me about 20 years of completely free electricity, totally insulated from inflation or rising energy costs. None of that's going to affect me. Power outages won't affect me. I'm doing it all here in-house. And that's what finally swayed me to do this. Now again, I don't yet have access to export to the grid, so I don't know the total energy I can push out to the grid. Also, like I said, it is winter. We have really short days, and the sun is at a pretty extreme angle at this point. It is very low in the sky here for North America, so I'm not getting maximum output or generation from my panels even. Overall, I'll have to wait and see exactly what this system is capable of. I definitely plan on bringing you guys some updates at maybe the 3 month, 6 month, and 1 year level, just to kind of figure out overall what it's doing and how it's been. So far, everything's working great. The Powerwall is fantastic. The app is actually really cool too. It really allows you to see what's going on in your home, and at least for the first couple days, you're really into it. It's pretty cool. The solar panels really don't stick out at all. They're black on black, and they just stay high up on the roof, so you almost don't even notice them. They're doing a great job generating the electricity I need every day, at least for these couple days, so I'm excited to see what this system brings. If you have any questions about solar or had issues with solars, if you have any questions about solar or have had a solar system yourself, let me know exactly what you did and how it worked for you. If you have any questions, let me know what those are and I'll see if I can answer them for you. So far, I'm super excited about this system. Seems to work well, and that little bit of energy independence should be really nice. As always, if you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe. If there's anything else you want to see, let us know, and we'll see you next time.